Hi everyone, delonewolf here, and welcome to EVE Talk, your weekly look at the market in EVE Online. So it looks like my commercial for the Alliance tournament has been quite a success, because we have like 200 new subscribers in like a week. So that's awesome. Thank you very much for your support, and I hope you enjoyed the show. Another quick rectification I think I should make in my previous EVE Online video. I said that I wanted to test if doing invention on a BPC with multiple runs would also yield me a Tech 2 BPC with multiple runs, and it turns out that that's not how it works. So you actually need the decryptors if you want to have a chance at multiple runs. If anyone is wondering, I did find out, so I did do invention on some of these BPCs, and yeah, I was a little bit disappointed by the result, but I did find that out. So it's not how it works. Tech 2 BPCs always have like a start off basically with one run. I think it's a little bit different for drones and then for ammunitions, but you can't increase the runs by taking a BPC with more runs in it originally. So let's get started here with our look at the market, and we'll begin with plex at 115. And unfortunately that's not very good news here. Plex are coming in at 796, so that's a decent increase in price for plex here over the last month, week or so even, I should say. Yeah, look at that, nice little spike up, heading towards 800, and then it didn't want to break that just yet, I think. These are some psychological barriers. Once plex reached 800, more people were willing to redump their plex on the market, but overall the trend here is still an upward trend right here, or a stable trend. There is no sign that there is going to be a serious correction in plex anytime soon. And yeah, for people that want to plex their account, you'll just have to pony up more ISK, around 800 million at the moment. I do think more and more people are starting to accept these new prices. I know me, for instance, I'm already counting on like the 750 million mark. Divide that by the number of days in a month, and then I know pretty much what I need to make in order to plex my account. I remember the time when plex were below 500 million. Those were the good times, but honestly it tried right here, right after the Kronos expansion, just to dip, or the Cryos expansion maybe, just to dip a little bit, but demand for plex is just so high at the moment that yeah, it's not going away anytime soon. And honestly, if it had been like 2 years ago, I would have said just wait it out, because with the winter expansion there is usually a serious pullback in plex. Unfortunately, now with the new release schedule that CCP does, with smaller releases every 6 weeks, I do think that this winter rush, because I would suspect that it's more increased supply that caused all of these corrections in plex prices. So you had a winter expansion that looked awesome. A lot of people all of a sudden came back to the game, bought a few plex, first of all to reactivate their account, but also to get some ISK and to get going in the game without having to do any of the grind. With this new release schedule and no clear-cut big expansions, I do think that this effect will at least be a lot lower. It may be that more people will come back to the game during the winter months, but I don't expect we'll see these big pullbacks that we did see in the winter expansions up to 2 years ago. So yeah, I'd say don't get your hopes up, and if you want plex, yeah, just start keeping in mind 800 million a month is what you'll have to make if you want to plex your accounts. And I think a lot of people have pointed this out to me, and that they're absolutely correct. The fact that you can now train multiple characters on a single account using plex is probably a huge part in this. I'm doing it myself now on a new character. If you have the money, why not do it? What else are you going to spend billions of ISK on? It's just something that's once a month. So yeah, I think that's indeed going to be a huge contributor to these very high plex prices right here. So let's move on to minerals then. Titanium and 430, something like that. And here, this is the 1 year chart. You can see that titanium has corrected significantly, but it's still not at the bottom prices of like a year ago. And it's been able to hold on, I think, in the last month pretty well here. Yeah, look at that, much more stable situation right here. So I would suspect that supply and demand is pretty much even. And yeah, I would say this. Here we have a buy order of 250 million units at 537, and here we have a sell order of 300 million units at 540. Very, very small margin. The numbers are pretty much in balance here, and so for now it looks like the mineral market has cooled down, has found its new balanced price, its new accepted price. And for titanium it's something around 5.4 ISK. Let's have a look at pyrite here, supply demand maybe quickly here. 200 million at 1072 for the buy orders. Here we go, 120 million at 1084, 100 million units at 10.85. Again, very, very small margin, and so I would suspect that we're here seeing pretty much a flat situation. I mean, from 10.6 to 10.8, or not even that, is a very small fluctuation, which is pretty much consistent with a well-balanced market, and I don't see any reasons why this would move anytime soon. And let's have a look at Mexalon. That one was taking off last week and it's still doing so, heading towards 53 ISK. Let's have a quick look at sellers and buyers. Sellers here, yeah, 53.37, so I would say 53.4 ISK. Buyers all are following suit, 51.62, 51.61, something like that. It's still very close to one another. But Mexalon is going up. I do think that Mexalon knew an unexpected and larger correction. If I go for the 1 year chart, it did dip down pretty low, heading towards the 44 ISK price mark it had even before January, and so now here we do have a little bit of a counter movement. How long is this going to last? I would say not very long. I do think that just like titanium and pyrite have already become much calmer and found their balance, I think for Mexalon it's going to find that pretty soon as well. And if I look at these daily data points here, you did see one above 53 ISK, and now here it's meeting the 5-day moving average, so I would not be surprised if we'd see a flattening down of this chart starting next week. Let's have a look at Isogen then, the final high-sec mineral. That one also going up, and even the latest data point at above 121. So let's go and have a look here. 122 for the sellers, 120 for the buyers. So again, a very small margin. Am I seeing more demand than supply? Maybe by a little bit. Still, look at that pretty recent sell order of 16.6 million units of Isogen at 122.37, and there is some competition after that as well. And here we have a plane passing overhead. I hope you don't hear too much of that on the video, but I'm not really seeing an out of balance situation, supply demand. So here again for Isogen, price is going up a little bit, but I do think that this will also slow down. That is my expectation if I look at the titanium and the pyrite market. Let's have a look then at Anoxium, what I'm calling the in-between one. You can get this from high-sec, but it's already a lot more expensive. And here pretty much a similar situation as Mexalon and Isogen, also going up decently well in the last week or so, but I'm also seeing a flattening out of the 5-day moving average here at the tail end at around 640. So let's have a look here. Yeah, it's already correcting. You're seeing some sell orders at 627 coming in, 648, 649. I'm seeing a little bit more on the demand side, but not by that much really. Here 700,000, 300,000, and here we have 700,000, 300,000, something like that. So I feel all of this is going to calm down here as well pretty soon on these minerals that are available in high-sec and that have been going up in the last week or so. Next up, let's have a look at the null-sec minerals then. I think these were all correcting significantly even in the last few weeks, and here for megasite, look at that, no andesite breaking 1000 ISK. That's pretty significant, I think. 960 for the buyers and 968 for the sellers, and I think even the percentage dip, if you look at the bar below here, is almost 10% less for megasite in a single week. That's a lot, honestly. I would suspect that this has something to do with the stable situation in nullsec. People can mine and rat away in almost full safety because of the blue donut. and so yeah, there is just a huge supply because a lot of miners find their way into nullsec for the higher yields. The market of course corrects a little bit for this, and so megasite, wow, that's not doing too well. Let's have a look at Zydrine. Same here, look at that. Are we really below 470 for Zydrine? Yeah, 469, 460 for the buyers. For me personally, this is just a personal opinion. Don't take this as gospel. It is possible that this is something just like with plex that is going to be sustained, but this is coming close to investment worthy territory. Let's have a look also at Morphite maybe. That one a lot more stable right here at around the 6,200 mark. It is down for the year though, quite significantly, and of course Morphite is a little bit different because it's not used in Tech 1 production but in Tech 2 production. And anything else I'm missing? No, yeah, look at this megasite below 1000 ISK. I've not seen that in a long time. And honestly, I have 2 buy orders for 740 million for plexes. I think I'm gonna cancel those, and I think I might just do a little bit of investing in these nullsec minerals, because this is extremely low, and my scenario would be, again, this is just a personal opinion, a big war in nullsec could make this a very nice investment. Anyways, that's it for minerals. So the high-sec ones are stable, some of them are going up a little bit, but I'm not expecting this to last too long. Nullsec still crashing down, and they're at what I would consider to be very low price at the moment. Maybe I'll quickly show you guys a 1-year chart to give you some perspective. Coming from 1800, that's 50% loss on an entire year. I do think that yeah, that this is something we've not seen very often. Let's move on to the Tech 1 market then, and I'm writing down 1140 for that. So Tech 1 chips, I'm going to go for the 1-month chart just to see what it's been doing short term. This is the Drake, corrected back to 44 million. So it knew a little bit of a spike up last week, but it's already back down. If I look at supply demands, yep, right here, 57 units coming in. Well, actually that's 85 days, so that's actually an older order. Pretty weird here that I'm not seeing that many recent orders. So I guess this big order has really just done it for the Drake. At this point someone saw 46.5 million. Well, I'm gonna dump my Drakes at a way lower price, and then people have been not been bringing more of them to the market just because of this huge number. And so here we have a correction at 44, and now it's going to yeah, probably stay stable. I must say I'm decently surprised how stable the Tech 1 market has been able to maintain itself despite all of the changes to both manufacturing, reprocessing. So everything underneath the production has known significant changes, and yet here we go, the maelstrom. Also, I would say that this is pretty much a stable situation. Sure, on the 1 month from 190 to 178, it's down a little bit, but if you look at the last few weeks, pretty stable situation. And so as I've said here, the Omen was crashing down, but again stabilized at the 9 million mark, something like that, a little bit below that. Yeah, 9 million for the sellers. My reading of this Tech 1 market is that people have been producing a lot of stuff before Cryos, but that all of them have been smart enough not to flood the market all of a sudden. They're taking their time, filling in the gaps. Every time you see something go up, you do see a correction, and I do think that it's just people taking advantage of this. Same here with the rock, little spike correction here. I would not say that the move between 184 and 188, which is where the 5-day moving average has been hanging, is sign of a significant correction. Again, on the 1-month chart, granted this is down a little bit, but I don't think that this is end of the world stuff. Compare that to like the megasite chart, and I think you'll still be very happy that it's Tech 1 chips you're selling. Here with the Talos, for instance, 72 million, 20-day moving average staying just below 70 million. A little bit of wavy movements, but the scale is very small. And so yeah, my reading of Tech 1 market pretty much stable. There may be a little bit of oversupply right here, 11 of them still coming in pretty recently. You do have a 10 buy order as well, but overall all of this, you know, it's well supplied. There is maybe a little bit of oversupply, but no drastic movements are to be detected in this Tech 1 market, and it's been like that pretty much since the Cryos release. Let's have a look at Tech 2s then. I would write down 14.45 for that. And this is my trade market. This is where I think you can make trade money on short and medium term, and these spikes that you're seeing here on the absolution chart are what are my indicators for that. So over here, let's say almost in the early April, we had a nice spike here below 200 million, spike to 230, and then back down to 200 million. That's a lot of trade money made and lost in these. I think it's a bit risky at the moment because a lot of them are very high. I do think that the Alliance tournament has something to do with that. Let's have a quick look then at absolution here, 260 million. So yeah, that's already going back down from this little spike right here in data points. So it's definitely, a lot of them are in sell order territory. Look at the Astarte chart here again. You can see some very nice spikes here, which could have made you some money. But at the moment, it's just too risky, and I do think it's, again, the Alliance tournament that's doing this. The Claymore chart has been weird for quite a while here. Let's go for the 1 month chart. Has it been a month? Nope. Right here, a data point at 80 million that somehow sneaks in there. For the rest, yeah, it's just been pretty flat at 300 million, which if you go for the 6 month chart is actually pretty damn high for a Claymore. In June you could have still picked them up at below 220, closer to 200 million, so pretty significant. Let's have a look here at the Damnation then. Again, it's at a high point, and I would not invest in any of these. So all of these command ships, which is the Tech 2 ship that I've been looking at the most in the last few months, they're extremely high, and I think it's because of the Alliance tournament. So I'm going to still keep an eye on them in the upcoming weeks, but I'm curious to see what the effect is going to be in the next month, in like September, when the Alliance tournament is over and this market should be a little bit more normal. Let's have a look at the Guardian here, which is one that I think is more in normal situation, and that's awesome spiky behavior. Look at that. I would say half June you could have picked up some Guardians at like 130 for quite a while, spike up to 170, so that's 40 million, then back down below 130, and here a double spike again to 170, and now the correction is back in. Or the buy orders are still at 140, sell orders at 140 as well. But this is obviously a great opportunity for trade money here and there. Of course, you have to time it correctly, buy very low, sell very high. That's not that easy to do. I think that this is mostly nullsec alliances buying huge fleets of Guardians all of a sudden in preparation for hopefully a winter war. And this is why you're seeing these spikes, but for people that actively trade, these are great opportunities. Let's have a look at the Nighthawk here. Again, all of these will be extremely high. Sleipnir, look at that, 320 million buy opportunity right here with awesome big volume here when stuff started to take off. Here again, volume and volume. Over here, some people are buying a lot of command ships all of a sudden, even at these high prices, which to me would indicate that we are talking Alliance tournament related stuff. But yeah, 230, and now current prices for Sleipnir's 325 million. Yeah, this would have been a pretty good investment down here, and here again for the Vulture. So yeah, the command ships are extremely high, but I think if you look around in other Tech 2 ships, you'll find some pretty good opportunities. Like here the Guardian, it's slowly heading down below the 140, then this is becoming again an interesting investment opportunity, I think, if you expect, of course, this spiky behavior to continue, and if the nullsec alliances are in preparation mode, I see no reason why it couldn't. Let's move on to the Tech 3 market then, 1845 for that. Tech 3s were going down for quite a while, but now they've known a very nice big spike up. All of them knew this, so is this something that that is here to stay? I'm not exactly sure. If you look at the correction right now already, Legion heading back down towards 140. Yeah, 141 for the sellers, 132 for the buyers. That's actually a pretty big margin of almost 10% between the buy orders and the sell orders. And oversupply, 47.15. The competition is still right there at the top of the sellers chart. People are bringing in huge numbers, still trying to take advantage of the higher prices we've seen. So I think, yeah, that Tech 3s are actually going to correct a little bit. Let's have a look here at the Loki. That one has been able to maintain itself very nicely at around 150, but 146, and here again 33 of them coming in. It's the one big order, that's true, but I'd be careful here. I had a look actually. It's not that recent. Well, 9 hours ago. So I think the oversupply is coming back, and that these will correct even further. Here again, 36 produces at 147. This is going to put a damper on any upwards potential that is had, and so it was a big spike to 165, but now the correction has set in. The sell opportunities are slowly going to dry up because people are just willing to dump their stocks at any higher prices, since Tech 3 ships have gone pretty much close to 120 million, which is of course extremely low. And over there all of a sudden people did decide, yeah, I'm going to invest in those Tech 3 ships. But look at these 77 Tengus coming in, 2311. All of these are still very recent. A lot of competition in the cellular market. I think this is an indication that all of them are going to start to correct. At what opportunity, at what price are people going to again step in and pretty much buy out the entire market, causing this another spike? I can't tell honestly, just because if I go for the 1 year chart, yeah, it came from 175 and then it hit below 125. This is where people said, yeah, that's probably enough. It tried a spike, but oversupply is just so big that it corrected right back. Another spike here, and now we're again in correction territory. And keep in mind that if we have another chart for a year before that, it's probably a full year of just straight downward prices for Tech 3 ships. So this is very risky, I think, compared to the Tech 2 market if you want to actually make investments on the shorter term. I do think if you do fly Tech 3 ships, that just wait it out a little bit, because they are correcting at the moment. I'm still seeing this huge oversupply in the Tech 3 market. And then finally, the extra good for this week, I'll write down 2145 for that. I'm going to have a look at faction frigates. I tried a few burner missions on the test server, and the footage that I have is just too embarrassing to show. It's incredible. It's extremely difficult. You need, I think, the best implants, faction stuff. You'll need boosters. You need everything, or you know, don't do it solo. But solo, I couldn't do anything. I could cheat a little bit with FOF missiles on the missile burners and stay alive, but I couldn't even come close to scratching them. So it's very hard. It's going to kill a lot of ships, I think, and this is why I think that the faction frigates could be where the action is going to be in the upcoming weeks and months after the burn missions are released. And I think people have already gone to the test server, and so savvy investors will already have made their move. Caldari Navy hookbill, I would say up a little. Maybe I'll go just straight for the 6-month chart to have an idea. But yeah, Caldari Navy hookbill definitely up there on 6 months. Federation Navy Comet, actually pretty low, so maybe that's not the one people would be looking at. Imperial Navy Slicer, probably an extremely fast ship. That one's up a little bit. I wouldn't say it's out of the ordinary though, at its current price point. The Comet here, well, that actually apparently has only been back for about a year, or almost a year, so it's an unusual chart here. And then the Firetail, up but correcting back. I think it's more in the pirate factions where we'll have to look. Stuff like a Daredevil. Oh, look at that. Yeah, I do think this is burner mission related. That's definitely on a high for 6 months, close to 70 million for Daredevil. Guess who has a Daredevil dropped from a narcotics warehouse? That's right, I still have one in the oven. Dramiel here, well, not that much. I think the Worm may have, yeah, look at that, the Worm. This could also be related to the Alliance tournament, of course, because these are very powerful frigates. But I do think part of this is due to the burner missions. Let's have a look here at the Succubus. That hasn't moved that much. The Garmer here, that's going down just because it's been introduced. The Dramiel, we've already seen that. What's the crew are been doing? Not that much. So yeah, Daredevil though, pretty high. And the Worm here as well. We've seen a lot of Worms in the Alliance tournament. That could be related. Daredevil though, I think that could be in preparation of the burner missions. Maybe I should also have a quick look. Do you think that assault frigates could be used in these? Let's have a look here at the Retribution. It's at a 6-month high pretty much, and it knew a nice little spike here. Let's have a look at the Vengeance, not so much. So I do think that there's always going to be a best one. Apparently not Kaldari. Let's see, Enyo and Ishkur. Yeah, all of these are pretty high. Although I would be careful to say that this is due to the burner missions, because here the Jaguar, nice little spike, but it's just a little bit too long ago. This is probably more Alliance Tournament related. Here the Wolf, nothing that special. I guess the Jaguar is a little bit more popular here. Maybe the Interceptors quickly, why not? Let's have a look. Look at the Crusader. Well, actually, take 2 ship. Nice investment opportunity. Buying them at 20, selling them at 28, and again you can buy them at 20. Let's have a look here at the Malediction. Also knew a little bit of a spike, but nothing too drastic here. Crow. Yeah, Raptor is extremely high at the moment, so that's actually pretty good. The Ares or Ares as well, pretty high, and here the Terran is, well, it's high but not that much. Let's have a look at the Claw here. Wow, look at that big spike here. But that's again too early, I think, to be burner mission related. And then the Stiletto has been going up for quite a little bit. So yeah, it's interesting. I think if I have to gamble, that yeah, it's the Daredevil that's done it. A lot of people are probably going to try out burner missions with Daredevils. Let's have maybe a quick look at its fitting. Is it, can it do missiles? No, so it's actually guns, 3, 3, 4 low slots, 3 rig slots. Okay, interesting that it's the Daredevil. That's really the one that stands out to me, at least, for having really spiked up and very recently. So I would correlate that with the announcement and burner missions coming to the CC test server, because they are extremely hard. Don't underestimate that stuff. A lot of this could be related to the Alliance Tournament as well. I'll grant you that. But yeah, I think it's pretty damn interesting. Keeping an eye on the news, keeping an eye on the market can make you a lot of money. And if you had anticipated this, Daredevil would have been an awesome investment. I think this again the Plex chart to end up with. No good news here, no correction to see here. And honestly, I think we're gonna have to wait a long time before we actually see a correction. One thing I should note though, I noticed it when I was making the banner below here, while plexes have gone up and decently significantly, everything else on the bar is down. So I'm not sure, that's just a lot of ice cake going to plexes and all the other goods are becoming cheaper. That's a little bit of a weird situation. Maybe there is something to that as well. Something to think about. Anyways, that's it for this EVE Talk, guys. Thank you very much for watching. If you have a suggestion for next week's extra material or extra good for me to check out, feel free to post that in the comments. I will try and keep an eye on that as well. Thank you very much for watching. See you all next time.